Hi, Tim Yao here, Community Pioneer in Roundhouse Park and Cringleford, and welcome to this week's edition of Cringleford Assembly. Coming up this week on Friday, it's St. George's Day, the patron saint of England. So we'll be looking at heroes. And to start us off, we've got a track by an up-and-coming artist called Emma Connor from last year, 2020. It's a cover version of Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler. I hope you enjoy that. Now, I grew up with action films in the 80s. I was probably too young to really know what's going on. But that idea of the hero with the rippling muscles, gun-toting, wisecracking, vest-wearing, coming against all the odds and getting out on the other side, come what may, getting the job done. I grew up with that all-action American hero, and whenever I hear that phrase hero, it's kind of, that's the image I get stuck in my head. When you think of a hero, I wonder who you think of. This past year, we've had lots of new heroes, haven't we? The health service, key workers, people from serving us food in shops and stacking the shelves. Before, we wouldn't have thought of them as being heroes, but now we know that we've relied on them, we've needed them, the delivery drivers who've brought food to our doors. Obviously, the NHS key workers and emergency workers, they've become the new heroes. I don't know if you saw that piece of artwork by Banksy, who had a child playing with an action doll, but it was a nurse, because of that sense of the heroics of getting a job done, being an everyday person and getting the job done. So what are the values of heroes we need today? St. George, as a patron saint, was chosen because of some of the values that he has. Let me just unpack for you some of the things we know about St. George. St. George was born in Cappadocia, which is in modern-day Turkey these days. He lived around about the 3rd century AD. His parents were Christians. He grew up as a Christian. He moved to live in modern-day, where we call modern-day Palestine, and he became a Roman soldier. He wasn't a knight, but he was a soldier. But as a soldier, he was supposed to pledge his allegiance to the Roman Empire and the emperor. But as a Christian, he refused to do this because there was a clash of values. And so when others around him were kind of bowing and making sacrifices to the kind of the Roman way, he refused. And because of that, he paid the ultimate price and was martyred. He was killed. I think he might have been beheaded, I think, for what he believed in. And St. George is not just an English saint. In fact, obviously, he wasn't English at all, seeing he was born in modern-day Turkey. But he is venerated all around the world in places like Catalonia, Georgia, Lithuania, Palestine, Portugal, Germany, Greece. He's also been adopted as the kind of the patron of the Scouts. You know, I don't know if you were ever a Scout, but there you go. And also, interestingly, St. George is venerated by some Muslims because in some Muslim traditions, he is seen as this prophetic figure. So a very diverse background, St. George. He wasn't a knight. He probably, well, not probably, he definitely didn't fight a dragon, and he didn't rescue a maiden or a princess. But he was someone who stood up for truth and lived out those values. In 1415, he was adopted as England's saint because he represented the values of the royalty and of nobility at the time, values of chivalry, honor, bravery, gallantry, those kind of things, those classic kind of King Arthurian type things when we think of the Knights of the Round Table, that kind of thing. But are those values the values we look to? Are those the values we want for ourselves today, for our families, for our nation, for the world around us? Do those values truly reflect the British nation? And if we don't have those values, then what do we have instead? I think it was in 2014, the then Conservative government thought we needed a sense of what is British values, what's it really sum up, and they didn't use nobility or gallantry or chivalry or anything like that, but they choose four things: the rule of law, individual liberty, democracy, and the mutual respect and tolerance. Now, it's interesting when we look at those things, only some of those I would say is really our value. Tolerance is a value, but the rule of law and democracy, well, but that's not really a value. But however, the government at the time said these are what Britishness is really about. I mean, I don't know if you even agree with those things, but officially that's what they are. I wonder what British values are for you. And I wonder if whatever those values are for you, who would embody some of those values? Who would you look up to as a hero, as a saintly person? You know, patron saints were chosen for these values that they had, but they were also seen as people to aspire to. I wonder, who is it you aspire to today? Who is it you really want to be like? There was another saint, Saint Paul, and he who kind of wrote lots of the New Testament, and he said these words: "Follow my example as I follow the example of Christ." Follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. Both Saint George and Saint Paul and Christians down the ages have not looked to themselves, have not looked to others, but they've looked to Christ, Jesus, as their ultimate example. When you're looking for a hero, are you looking for someone who'll come and rescue you, a muscle-bound kind of action hero? Or are you looking for someone who shows us a way of meaning, a way of purpose, a way of truth, a way of love, a way of life that is worth following? When you look at your heroes, are they really people you want to emulate? Do you really want to be like them? Well, my prayer for all of us is that whatever we do in life, we will look to people who are worth following. There's lots of goodness in people around us, people looked up to, but what is it that's in you, and how can you be someone who embodies values that are worth following in this world today? Well, that's it for Cringleford Assembly this week. I hope you give me some food for thought, and if I don't see you soon, I'll see you next time. Bye.